You don't get this world in the history books. You don't understand the kind of impact one man, which is Mahatma Gandhi, could have had in that time, in the time of utter chaos and political roiling and divisiveness. I thought there was a play in that.
It's such a treat, sort of meeting you in the flesh.
Thank
Finally.
You've been on Zoom because you've been in India.
I've been in India. I've been on Indian time on Zoom, so it's been kind of weird, where my day began at 3 in the afternoon and went on till about 11 in the evening.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't mind me asking a question, I guess it's like, what made you want to write this piece?
Gandhi was a figure that we've all revered since childhood. I mean, every Independence Day, Republic Day, Gandhi's birthday, we'd have Attenborough's film being played, in schools or on televisions. So when I dug into the past, it took me all the way to the pre-independence India, when our political discourse was getting quite divisive. I mean, there was a very strident left wing and a very strident right wing. There seemed no common ground between these two groups.
Even under the empire.
Even under the empire, you had Gandhi's kind of politics, and you had the right wing kind of politics. The primary question I had at that point was, could India have been different had Gandhi lived? So which took me to his assassin, Nathuram Godse.
Anu, so this is, I mean, obviously this story is based on a lot of facts and people, real people. How much of the play is fact, is real, and how much of it is in your imagination?
There are huge gaps in what is recorded of Nathuram Godse. So the only way I could fill in those gaps is by using my imagination. It is fiction, but there are historical moments in the play that I cannot but write about. The starting point for me was the knowledge that Nathuram Godse was brought up as a girl. That's written about by his brother and by the various biographies that I've read. So that for me was the starting point, to understand his journey from being this kind of a child with this interesting childhood, and looking at him as the killer he ends up being. He came into the limelight only in the 40s. He was involved in certain movements during the independence struggle. So, those plot points were there, they're established facts. But to flesh them out as a story, you have to
make things up,
which is the role of a dramatist. So if you're looking at, if you're expecting a history lesson that is completely factual, this is not it.
Because in a way this play is a memory play, it's a political play, but also because we're performing it in England, it was really important for us that we didn't fall into the tropes of what is a touristic India version image on the stage, what people might, recognise, or that's a bit too obvious and often stereotypical, can be stereotyped. So it's been an interesting journey. I don't think I've worked with a playwright as many times as
I haven't
Annie.
written that many plays either. So.
Yeah, but we first worked together at the Royal Court.
2007, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yes.
on your first play, and this is our fourth
Play
together. Immediately, the minute I got this, I knew this project was happening. I knew, that Rajha was the person I wanted to work on it. I just knew you would have a different perspective on it, and your work is so in the world, but challenges the boundaries of what theatre is, and that's what really excited about. I just knew I needed those eyes and that perspective on this project.
I sculpt space, which
Yeah.
is kind of a strange way to, I mean, I wanted to study sculpture, but it didn't happen. But theatre, it's about form and space and bodies in that space. So I think for me it was just sort of, I guess, getting to grips with the Olivier is the first big challenge. Second, it was Anu's script. So, I mean, of course, you know, Indhu turns up every time at my studio and I'm sitting there going, I haven't really moved very far with this. I'm still trying to dissect it. I'm a mathematician. I trained in maths, so that was my first degree, and then I kind of shifted into theatre. So I'm very analytical when I look at work. So it's just sort of text, I'm dyslexic, so of course I start to see things in form. So I dissect, and for me I sort of literally went and did a script analysis, and then it was okay, well actually there's only 4 locations for Godse. So I kind of distilled it, because we jump about quite a, you know, it's like a film basically. This script is very filmic. That's what I found really interesting, because my experience of India was 14 hours in an airport as a stop off. So I literally went in quite fresh, and I'm still delving and finding so many little details. It's I guess it's a culture that's, you know, we all think we know from the films or sort of musically or whatever it is, but actually the complexity, I think, is what I'm finding really, really interesting.
What I hope the power of the play, when we get it on, you know, is that it has both the emotional truth, it has a political, it's a political play with a big heart, because it's trying to grapple with very big ideas, but through characters' journeys. And, you know, it encapsulates a vast time, you know, it's like almost 40 years of history we put on stage.